right. So Jim, where are you these days? Are you up in upstate?
Yes, upstate New York.
Good. All right. Well, let's kick it off. We got a really action-packed day today, and I'll throw up the agenda. We'll get right on into it, and hopefully we'll get more folks to join on in here. And let's see. Okay, can you guys see me okay?
Yes.
All right. So let's start. We'll start off with Jim and wins of the week. Michelle's got the FAQ from the Managed SaaS Alerts announcement last week. Liran, we've got you got an Intune convo, correct? Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah,
All
just
right.
a quick question.
Yeah, and then Adam's gonna do some review on Unify, and then awesome special guest today. We have Spencer Pollock, and that's why I was excited after last week's 150 or so people. It'd be great. Go blast them all, Michelle, and tell them to get on now.
I will. You know what? Where's the Discord? So I'll do that right now.
Yeah, please. They're missing out. They got about 20 minutes or so to line up, 25 minutes. So Jim, let's kick it on off with our favorite part and wins of the week and see what we got.
Okay, Andrew, before we go into wins of the week, I want to acknowledge something else.
Okay.
So it's with a very heavy heart that I let people know that this is the last sassy call for Michelle Katz.
What?
Lindsay,
What?
So Michelle, so obviously 4th of July is next Thursday, so we're not having this call next Thursday. And then the next call after that, Michelle will no longer be with SaaS Alerts. She found a fantastic opportunity to become director of marketing at another organization. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you, Michelle, in front of everybody on this call. You will always, always be considered part of the SaaS Alerts team. And you'll be very missed here on this call and within the organization. So thank you very
Seriously.
much.
Thank you. I know, and I will miss you guys. But I'll probably be lurking around the Discord server. So
Yes, if you always need to get a hold of Michelle, she'll be on Discord.
I will.
I just want to make sure I understand this. Michelle has been in SaaS Alerts, and she has done this since I known SaaS Alerts. Isn't that about right?
Michelle, it's been 2.5 years, right?
Yeah.
Yep. 2.5 years.
Wow.
January of 22.
Yep. Yep. And it's been amazing. And this was a tough decision because honestly, it feels like family. And this call is one of my absolute favorite things of the week. And I'm going to miss you guys a lot. Maybe I'll hack in and jump on sometimes.
You're always welcome, Michelle. You know that.
I know, but you guys.
Michelle will always be considered part of the founding team at SaaS Alerts.
Thank you. And you can reach out. I mean, like I said, I'll be on Discord. We can chat. I love hearing what you guys are up to. So we'll keep in touch.
Okay. So with that bad news, let's talk about some good news. Let's talk about some partner wins. So anyone have anything they want to share this week? Bad guys we've collectively caught together?
Jim, do you have any on the SaaS Alerts team Andy's got one. Go, Andy.
Well, I was just going to share, we started with this new customer that we won last week, and already we're raising their score from what was a 70 up to about 85. And we're in a methodical process of improving security for a customer that was really not aware of all these capabilities around Microsoft tenant. This is enabling and empowering and building trust.
Awesome. Good to hear. Thanks, Andy. Anybody else have anything they want to share? We did have someone anonymously let us know, like they did not want to be mentioned, and they usually don't come to this call, but they did let us know this week that SaaS Alerts helped them catch a significant compromise that would have cost their customer at least $500,000.
Whoa.
So they let us know that, but they usually don't come to this call, which is unfortunate. Anybody else? Anything? Kind of quiet today. Usually we got more people wanting to speak up with their wins. Okay, Andrew, I think that pretty much does it there for today.
All right.
Jim, Andrew, I can talk.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
good.
you want something else.
Sure.
So I have to say, ever since you guys brought in the high risk, it has really helped out with having automated lockdowns. Most of them are real, some are false positives, which is fine, but being able to take in those pieces that you brought the API into with it have now started to lock down all the high risk users automatically because we're utilizing SaaS with it instead of getting the email, going in, having us investigate and all that. It's been a nice knocking them out, especially when it happens overnight. So that's
Awesome.
my
Cool. Thank you, Dan. Thanks for sharing. Really appreciate it. Anybody else? Okay. Sounds good. Andrew, saw you.
All right, let's jump on over to Michelle. I'll let you share your screen.
Okay. I don't really have anything to I mean, I guess I could share. I'm going to drop the FAQs in. I can share it if you want. But, let me open it up. Okay. All right. So what we have here are some frequently asked questions about managed SaaS alerts. Got the billing here, services. There are a lot of them. You guys had a lot of great questions last week, and I was hoping to fit it on one page, and I couldn't because you had so many great questions. So I dropped that in the, oh, I think I just sent it to Andy. Sorry about that.
I downloaded it.
Perfect. I was like, all right, let me redo that. Way to go out with a bang, right? All right, let's see. Okay, let's try this. Okay, did you guys get that?
Got it. Is it? Yeah, I see it.
Okay, good. This should hopefully answer most of your questions. So if you want to take a look through, we're happy to answer any other ones, but this
Yeah,
should
did anybody have questions since last week that you might have thought about? Anybody sign up since last week and have any conversations?
Well, what is the deadline? Was it end of month to make the
Yes. Correct. That's if
I'm
you
waiting
want
for the last minute.
that's if you want the promotional price of 50 cents per
I'll just
user.
wait until next month. Never mind.
Okay. So that'll be okay. That'll be 75 cents, Gary.
So Jim,
I'm waiting for the
how many,
fire sale.
how was the response to the program? How many partners that were aware of this deal took advantage of it?
So I think we're up to all existing partners between renewals and new signups from existing partners. I think we're up to 18.
Okay, so roughly 10% of those on the call last week took it. So is
Correct.
it just decision making that's difficult for the partners, or is
Yeah, and I think there's other people that are literally waiting to the last second.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Okay.
I'm just getting a update on that number. It's now up to 22.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, great.
I'm very confident we're signing up.
Okay.
Next month.
Gary, I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. You haven't signed up yet?
I had not. I was waiting for some feedback on actual number of tickets and amount of time that we've been spending.
Would this have, do you think this would have been more rapidly to detect your incident earlier?
No, we've already implemented those rules.
I see. All right.
No, we had a discussion about it at the end of last week, and I haven't been able to circle back around with my team to make sure we're on the same page.
Okay.
So, hey, my name's Will. I'm new here. I'm from an MSP off the East Coast in New Jersey. Actually, we just found out about this program, this morning?
Okay.
Right?
Well,
But we're extremely excited about it. I think it's going to take a lot of time off our hands. So probably by tomorrow, we'll be signing up as well.
Okay. Cool. So sounds like we're at least 24, 22 plus Will and Gary.
You can count half of me.
Enrique, I didn't think you were a pole sitter.
Yeah. Okay. So Gary's or Enrique's on the fence. But again, this is for those that want it, great. If not, that's fine too. We're not pushing it at anybody. It's just we want to offer it for those folks that think it's going to be beneficial.
You want to know? I'm going to throw the ball back at you, Jim. You want to know why I haven't said yes?
Okay. Why?
Because the only thing I have is the marketing email. I don't have an account rep. And I know you said if you don't have an account rep, let us know and we'll find it for you. But I haven't had a chance to let you know. So now I'm letting you know.
I'm sure your account rep is on this call right now. That would be either Maya, Philip, or Connor. So one of them knows that they have you and they'll be reaching it.
Okay, awesome.
hey, Jim, I don't know if you saw Adam Robinson had a token hijacking stopped. He put in chat. I just recognized that.
No, Adam, speak up, please. Share.
Can you, from the UK, Adam, do you have audio?
We love the accent. We don't get the accent. We're just saying it in chat. Okay.
Adam wants to sign up.
Where'd he go? Hold on. Did
He's
he?
chatting.
No, he could be. Oh, there he is. Adam. So it's like he's, I don't know, can't hear
Is he
him.
hacked?
His mic is not working. He's
Mic's not
just-
working.
But he
Okay.
wants to sign up for the managed SOC service that you have.
Yeah. Managed SaaS Alerts.
All right, sorry, I'll
Not
say it
SOC.
that way.
Does someone have an AI voiceover of Adam and then can just kind of,
A
Give
deep
us the
fake.
rundown.
Here we go.
You hear me now?
there
Yes.
you go. Not that.
Here we go.
Yeah, I have to put the headphones on. Yeah, so as the MD at one of our larger clients, did the usual, clicked on a link in an email from somebody that he knew, was expecting a document from them, coincidentally. Obviously it popped up with the credential screen, he signed in and then it didn't work. So we caught it, or SaaS Alerts caught it, obviously blocked his account. So then he contacted us to say he couldn't get into his emails anymore. We said, yeah, we were just about to give you a call to say it looks like you've been hacked. Actually, somebody was trying to log in from New York. So those of you in the US who think that it's all the rest of the world that are bad people, it's not always the case. But anyway, yeah, so we stopped it. He spoke to the guy who got an email from and he said, yeah, I've been hacked. So yeah, it did its job.
Okay. Awesome. So managing director, that means the boss over there, right?
Yeah. So yeah, in the UK we have CEOs and managing directors, which are pretty much the same thing. So yeah,
Okay.
head of the company.
Got it. So what's he saying about your organization now, Adam? What's he saying?
Yeah, I mean for a couple of hours we were the best thing ever. Obviously, sometimes it's quickly forgotten though.
I know that's the job we're in, right? Like,
Yeah.
hear us for a second, and
Yeah, I think I guess the problem is, or not the problem, but it just becomes a norm. They just, everybody just thinks, yeah, that's what you do. So yeah, pat on the back and let's move on. It's just expected, isn't it, that we're kind of looking after them.
Right. But you've definitely added goodwill into the goodwill reservoir. So
Yes. Yeah.
that's important. Okay. Awesome. Adam, thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. Okay.
Good. So let's move on to Liran. Liran, you had a question around
Yes, yes, definitely. So we're looking at Fortify and the types of things that we can do with Intune as we start researching some of the Intune actions. And our team kind of came back and said, well, what do you want to do with this? And I thought, well, this is a perfect question to bring to the community and ask you guys, what are some things that we can automate for you as far as Intune goes? So some ideas, I'll throw out the top 3: device enrollment and configuration. So we could potentially automate the enrollment process for new devices, apply configurations. We could also do application management, potentially deploy and update apps, remove or block non-compliant apps. And then the third example is compliance policies and conditional access. So applying compliance policies and automate remediations for non-compliant devices. We haven't researched all of these, so don't hold me to these things I said. We're just in the very early phases. And I wanted to throw some ideas at you guys and see if anybody had any other ideas as far as Intune actions we could add to Fortify.
Well, first off, who's leveraging Intune right now? And is anybody? Eric? Just your thoughts, Eric. Do you foresee at some point that becoming your RMM with an automation tool if it lends itself that it's functional enough at scale? I'm just curious. Do you have audio, Eric?
Which Eric?
Oh, Monroe.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, he raised his hand. I think
You're muted, Eric.
Eric, we don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We're doing everything we can to get rid of RMM.
Okay.
Right.
So the impetus right now, like why you're embracing Intune.
Exactly. In combination of Intune and AnyBot, hopefully we'll get rid of all RMM tools.
Got it. Yeah, so out of the obvious, Eric, which is risk.
Risk and duplication of solutions, right? We don't need the same stuff doing the same things, or different things doing the same stuff.
Right. And easier integration with going as we see the proliferation of the Microsoft stack as well. It seems to make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can actually control it much easier with Intune than we've noticed with RMMs, right? The devices seem to respond in a more consistent way.
Got it. Anyone else moving that direction?
We're not moving that direction, but we have clients that have it. And in some cases, one of the meetings we had this morning with SaaS Alerts, they're using just as an extra endpoint to try to protect their network and protect their clients. They also have a lot of Macs and PCs and iOS devices in it. So it's the RMM for us, we need it.
Yeah.
Is managing different devices and personally, from the data side or whatever we're using for the RMM, Intune doesn't do everything. But for the client, they want it for conditional policies and other stuff. So very basic. And for the BYODs, that's a big one.
Eric, have you seen any of or heard it? Like I've heard some of the MSPs that are at the co-managed, larger account levels where you have, compliance, customers, they're mandating no RMM and will accept Intune, but have you started to see any of that?
I haven't seen any, no. I haven't. And to be honest, Microsoft keeps having these leaks. It kind of makes it hard to convince everyone to just go to Microsoft only, or anyone. I don't trust just one company.
What leaks would Microsoft have, Eric?
In their coding. Oh, you're being facetious. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the sarcasm wasn't quite strong enough on that one.
I didn't have enough coffee this morning. Sorry.
Yeah. But look, that's one of the things that we talk about all the time, Eric. And that's why I think SaaS Alerts is a great add-on, because no one's getting rid of Microsoft, right? Because it's just embedded. But at the same time, you shouldn't police Microsoft with Microsoft, right? So that's it's a great value add to your customers, where you can say, hey, look, we have the ability to monitor your most important third-party application, Microsoft, with another tool, a third-party application.
I agree.
So Liran, the reason I kind of took a step back and asked that question, it doesn't seem like you have a great question and a great, kind of coming at this, but it seems like the adoption may not be there to give you the kind of data set that you need. That's kind of what I'm hearing here.
Yeah, I think we may be a little bit early to this party, but we do believe it's coming.
Oh,
Yeah.
I couldn't agree. Sorry, Andy. I was just gonna say I couldn't agree more that you're skating to the puck, Liran, that is either going to be, and it'd be interesting to hear what Spencer, maybe I could ask him. Spencer, we'll introduce you later, but are with some of the cases you're working or any of the litigation you're hearing, you've worked enough MSP cases? Could you see this potentially RMMs starting to the insurance firms starting to push it out as a hey, no, we're not going to write if there's an RMM?
I could see it. I mean, they're always looking at the risk that comes from this. And if you're looking at bigger risks from this, especially when we're talking with the RMMs, I could see that happening. I mean, it evolves pretty quickly, but Andrew, I mean, you make a good point. I mean, I think just in general with MSPs, right, it's always tough to get insurance regardless. So yeah, I could see it starting to head down that way, especially with litigation and liability factors.
Cool. All right. I'm sorry, Andy, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Liran, bringing Unify-like capabilities to Intune would be helpful to be able to know that a device with Intune on it is actually authenticating into the tenant. So that would be another, bringing those kind of capabilities into Intune, and also being able to monitor it like an RMM, as SaaS Alerts does for our RMMs currently, to give us those same concerns. Hey, someone else has accessed this outside of a known good IP, for example. Being able to use those capabilities and help us monitor it that way. Those are what come up to mind to me.
Adam, do you want to weigh in on this?
Sure. Yeah, so Intune is on my short-term hit list for Unify, and also ideally to bring in some MDM type of activity into Unify as well. So that is already mapped out, and dev cycles starting on that very soon.
Adam, are you getting whether it's like, the Logicallys or other from the bigger MSPs that are in Tivas, is that where some of this is coming from? Or
no, interestingly enough, I've had very few requests for Intune, and this really is, like you said, skating towards the puck. I think we're all looking at the data and what's happening and going, I think this is where we need to go. I really haven't seen a lot of requests publicly or officially yet for Intune support.
Hey, Andrew, I think we're driving to the hockey rink. We're not quite skating to the puck yet.
That's very possible, Liran. But I think it's a great move that you guys are leading, taking charge and leading, because I certainly foresee it going this route. Eric Monroe, just one other quick question, if I could, on you. You were at Flow, as was Jim, but a lot of MSPs, mature, adopting, automation. Was Intune part of a conversations that you were hearing more of with some of the bigger MSPs, or not necessarily?
Yeah, for the conversations I had, it was right, because there's a lot of things with Intune that we can automate and get alerted on and build into processes.
Okay. So very much
Yeah.
part of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, long term, Andrew, I mean, one of the things that we see is being able to, you're an MSP, you can manage your Intune instance through SaaS Alerts, you can manage conditional access policies through SaaS Alerts. We understand that Microsoft is not the easiest application for a lot of folks to manage. So we want to be able to bring it all into one place, be able to essentially manage all your security there, and then do all the correlations through all the other applications that your customers are using from, that single pane of glass. So.
Got it.
Someday we'll have a single pane of glass.
That mystical single pane of glass.
Too funny. All right. Adam, did you have anything? I know you were working on some stuff as well.
Yeah, I just, this past week, Unify V3 was released. I know I've, like normal with you all get to see it first, even before we build it. But I definitely wanted to do a quick show and tell, so to speak, of Unify V3 on this call and open it up to maybe any questions or comments you all have already that for you folks who are already using it. So I will go ahead and share my screen. I assume you guys all see the SaaS Alerts console here. Good. Cool. So Unify V3 really has a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes, but also a few major updates that you all see in the visual aspect as well. So as far as behind the scenes go, shared device support is really one of the big things that came out for Unify V3. So, but in the front end, this is what we worked on. So when you're in the analyze screen here and you are looking at events, the device column is has been updated significantly. And actually, I'll back up because I always do this. There's probably somebody on this call who doesn't even know what Unify is. So Unify is the module in SaaS Alerts that will pull in the device data from your RMMs and automatically correlate the events that are occurring in the SaaS applications with the device metadata on both sides. And with a level of certainty, will tell you that the activity that's being performed is or is not being performed by a managed known device. The way that you set that up is you connect an RMM somewhere in our system. And the second you map an account, or sorry, an organization inside the RMM, we start pulling devices in and start enhancing event data automatically. Now, there's really no downside to doing that at all, because all we are doing, and I would say all just, is enhancing the event data. We're not changing whether it's a low, medium, or critical priority. We're not firing off additional alerts. Purely, it is an enrichment of the event. Magic starts happening and things start happening when you connect, respond to the Unify data. At that point, things get very powerful. But for those folks who have not set up Unify yet, just connecting your RMM and getting this device data, to me, is hugely valuable to provide that additional context as you are threat hunting and trying to decide whether these events are legitimate or potentially a threat. So with that said, when you do that enabling of Unify by adding the RMM and mapping the org, this device column turns on. And for instance, let's look at this. So this particular event right here, I'm showing a little green check mark with a person and 100%. And when I click on that, this flyout comes over. And when my computer wakes up, there we go. This flyout is going to tell us a lot of information about what's happening behind the scenes. So I'll zoom in here real quickly. And basically what this is doing is saying, hey, based on the data that was in the Microsoft event that we pulled in, and the data that we're seeing in Ninja One right now, we are 100% certain that this machine, this known desktop from the RMM, is the device that performed this particular event. And we give you a little paragraph here on plain English on why we made the decision that we made. And then we also give you the little ability right here to give my team a thumbs up. Jim hasn't approved this yet, but 100 thumbs ups mean we send a beer to the dev team. So you guys, click the button. We really appreciate it. Somebody actually, me, is looking at this data. And if for some reason you don't like what happened, you can hit not helpful, and you can actually tell me why you think that this wasn't good. And I am literally every day looking at this data. So don't just think you're clicking the buttons and it's going into a black hole. So The beauty of this technology is, let's say somebody does do a drive-by token theft, and things would normally look normal if they're inside the US and you have the US whitelisted. This is going to identify that that activity is not occurring on a managed device, and it should be able to allow you to take action faster. We also have another feature in Unify v3 where prior, if an account did not have a device mapped for it at all, then it would just not process the event at all. If a user had a device mapped, but maybe they used 3 other computers and those 3 other computers were not mapped, those would show up as unknown. We now actually will identify them as unmapped machines, for instance. So when I click on that same link, that one was orange this time instead of green, and we'll actually be able to take action on it. So in this particular instance, this is an unmapped device that we detected. Same correlation happening here. And we can actually go ahead and say, map the device right from the analyze column now. Before, you had to go in the Unify module to do that. So major improvement on what's happening inside the analysis section. The next thing that is improved is if we are mapping accounts, we have this nice new way of managing the mapped accounts. So because we are now allowing shared devices, more than 2 accounts on a device, we had to upgrade this UI. And so this here allows us to map and unmap. Finally, we have, actually second finally, one before, we have 3 new Unify templates that are inside the respond area. One is an impossible travel dream of mine, whether it works or not in the real world. I don't know whether you guys will all apply this, but I wanted to at least show some ideas that I had that were really crazy outside the box. The first 2, I think you'll actually find to be pretty useful. This one here will actually allow you to turn the outside approved location notices down in the main section of our app. And then this basically elevates it back up if it's happening from an unknown device or an unmanaged unknown device. And then finally, we have provided a new report in the report section that will allow you to see all of the mapped devices and the accounts that are associated to them, as well as whether they are shared or just single devices. Coming soon for you Roost users is an API endpoint to actually control the mapping and unmapping and things like that. So, questions, comments, thoughts?
UI is really well done, Adam. It looks like it will save a lot of time and much more intuitive also.
And I'll say this, one of the, like, look, if some folks are looking at this and saying, wow, it's awesome, but it's also pretty complicated, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. That's one of the reasons why we've introduced managed, right? Like, as part of the managed offering, we will do this for you, essentially.
So you're saying, Jim, you're making the product more complex to force people more into the managed section.
We're just saying we can make it easier for you if that's what you want.
Get it. Yeah, it actually is more, to me, it's more intuitive, to be honest. So
Andy, you had a question. Is the real-time demo? No. Well, yes and no. I just went back to old data because I knew that I had a bunch there that was juicy from when I was testing this. I could look at today's, but one of the issues that I have personally with Unify is it's really hard to trick it, and it's really hard to get all the different cases. So doing these demos, I usually go back to older data so that I know what's
the reason I was asking that question is part of the evaluation is how old is the information from the RMM. And so that's what I was attempting to get a sense of when I looked at that flyover, is how current is the data from that flyover.
Yeah, actually, based on your specific recommendation, we do have that data in the UI now. When you hover over, when you go to one of the machines that are mapped or unmapped, there's a little device icon that tells you what OS it is, what yada, yada, yada. When you hover over, it'll tell you the last time that the RMM saw that device and the last time we grabbed it from the RMM. So you'll know that.
Thank you. Second question is, what if I have multiple sources like an RMM, an MDM, or I might be transitioning from one RMM to another? Unify support multiple feeds for different devices. They wouldn't be for the same devices, but it would be transitioning or, you know.
Yeah, so you can have multiple RMMs connected into SaaS Alerts, and Unify has no problem handling that. You also have the ability, we have some partners, a lot of times like N-Central, very, very large partners will be running 3, 4, 5, 6 different instances of N-Central, and you can connect those in as well. The only caveat there is you need a different org for each instance of the same product. So you'd end up with 3, 4, 5, or 6 orgs that just say RMM1, RMM2, RMM3.
So let's go.
Brett has his hand up, Andrew. Just wanted to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I was just, we got Brett, and then if we can
Hey, go Enrique first, because mine's going to segue into managed SaaS, so we'll stay on the Unify.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say briefly, if I was on Managed SaaS right now, I could pay more attention to you guys because I just had a user blocked in Italy because they're traveling and they didn't notify us. So I was confirming. So can we speed up the timeline?
Sounds like they're on vacation.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Hopefully, good spot in Italy. There's not many bad spots. Okay, cool. So Eric, or excuse me, Brett, what do you got next?
Yeah. Hey, so real quick question. How do you envision this managed rollout to go? And I imagine the SOC part will be pretty immediate because you just start staffing it and watching it and reacting. What about like the optimization part? Are you going to, are these going to be individual appointment? Are you doing a bunch of people at once? How do you envision this herding of cats to go?
Yeah. And again, when people say SOC, I'm going to purposely correct folks because this is truly a managed offering for SaaS Alerts. And in terms of the deployment, this is one of the reasons why we're not starting until September 1, right? Ben Jones, who is director of our CDC, Cloud Detection Center, is spending the next 2 months essentially putting together all of the templates and the automation to make this a really easy transition for folks. And that's part of how we anticipate doing it. First, going through, like, we're gonna almost have to do like a re-onboarding for folks. I shouldn't say re-onboarding, I should say optimization of onboarding to make sure that Fortify is set up the right way, Unify is set up with all the new capabilities, respond rules are there. And then to your point, Brett, yeah, from that point, it becomes easier because we're at that point just watching, we're babysitting and monitoring those configurations and the users and all that stuff. So that's why we're not starting tomorrow, right? Because we're taking the next 2 months to properly do this and make sure we're optimizing everything.
I got 2 more really quick follow-ups. The amount of aggressiveness you have in a rule is very subjective, right? Some people are going to block, reset passwords. Some people are going to just alert.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to handle those differences in aggressiveness? Is it like you set up a template and the MSP's got a choice of how aggressive they want to be, or you put any thought into that?
I haven't put thought into it, but maybe Ben Jones has. So Ben, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, we have put thought into that, and it's kind of what you said. I think the plan is for us to come to the partner and say, what kind of reaction is allowed for us to take? Are we allowed to take these actions as far as locking accounts, resetting sessions, or is it just pretty much just an alert kind of notification to your PSA or email?
Okay, last one, and I'm really glad you questioned the SOC reference. And I missed the last call, so I apologize. But that's the biggest pushback. The biggest question I'm getting here is what level it, because at one point in the document it says that you will alert the MSP. In other places it says you will remediate. What can we expect as far as I'm sleeping at 3 a.m.?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we were going to make sure that the automation works the way it's supposed to. Believe it or not, there's a lot of folks that don't have response set up properly for the right rule and with the right rules. So we're going to make sure the technology is set up the right way to do what it's supposed to do. And then again, babysit it. So because you're sleeping, we're not. But that's why I say this is a managed solution. We're managing this for you and making sure that it goes the right way. One of the reasons we did this, Brett, is because we've come to the realization that this platform has gotten really comprehensive. It does a lot for you, but very few partners are taking advantage of the full capabilities of it. So we're willing now to put people from a professional services standpoint in the position to make sure that this is happening and leveraging the entire, the entire, all the capabilities of the platform.
So you're not necessarily competing with a Blackpoint or even maybe a Huntress, but you are not making us 100% responsible for setting up this tool. Kind of like you're managing.
Yes.
You're doing what we all go, oh my God, I could spend all day in SaaS alerts. Well, hopefully maybe you guys will. And yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, we're going to become the best customer of our own platform, right? On behalf of you. And that's, I think, going to be beneficial in a lot of cases. But yeah, we get that all the time from people. I could spend all day in this, and this is awesome. I just can't. So, okay, so we'll be essentially, we're an extension of your organization. We don't, in terms of like, traditional SOC stuff, no, we're not going to do the stuff that Blackpoint does on the device side. We're not looking at networks or devices outside of what we do with Unify. So, that's the line in the sand.
So, Jim, I'm going to just chime in here because we have Spencer who's been waiting here, and I want to make sure he gets some time with everybody. It's actually for everybody. So is it okay if I transition us?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
awesome.
Brett.
Yep. Thank you.
Spence, you with us?
Yeah. Hey, I'm here.
Well, thank you for joining. It's great to have you with us. We've talked a lot on this program. We've had Spencer, we've actually had folks dealing with incidences on a regular basis. One of the things that we talk about is when to engage breach attorneys. I thought it was also really timely to pull you in, especially with the this little cyber attack that's just recently happened, and I think it's really relevant. So I want to talk about, first of all, let you do an intro, what it is a breach attorney does, the importance of MSPs considering a relationship with one, certainly their customers having one, it being in constant crosshairs of M365 and identity attacks right now. So let's just kick it off with, thanks for joining us and talk to us a little about who you are, and we'll kick right on into the conversation.
Yeah, and thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it. I love talking to MSPs because you all are kind of at the forefront of this cyber war and privacy war. As Andrew said, my name is Spencer Pollack. I'm a cybersecurity privacy attorney at McDonald Hopkins. This is my bread and butter, right? Cyber attacks, ransomware attacks, privacy consulting. So we do a lot of the front end work with MSPs and your kind of customers in terms of privacy policies, vendor management, incident response planning, tabletops. You name it under the privacy compliance sum, we do it. Obviously, we do a ton of the IR work. My group's done about 16,000 incidents. I've done about over 700 incidents myself, so we have heavy experience in that. Just a really brief primer about what a breach coach does. We come in when an incident happens, we'll engage an MSSP, DFIR firm to make sure everything's protected under privilege. From there, we'll basically work in parallel to a firm like that to ensure that ball is being moved forward, forensics, communications, working with regulators, ensuring that you're staying in compliance under any state or federal data breach notification law, pesky contractual provisions that you might have that are triggered when an incident initially happens will help keep you in compliance. Obviously, look, self-serving, it's good to know someone like me. It doesn't have to be me, but you definitely want to know someone like me.
Yeah. Spencer, one of the things that SaaS Alerts does really well is it's constantly, as you saw here, the reason we do wins of the week, it's thwarting a lot of identity attacks on a week, or shouldn't say, Jim, probably hundreds, if not thousands daily.
Yeah, you guys have a great platform here.
Yeah. So There's a point though where you see MSPs doing the right thing, isolating a host, a threat actor gets in, resetting passwords, doing the right thing about an M365 account. Can you give kind of maybe that demarc line of where things can go horrifically wrong for an MSP when they bridge over into really seemingly like the forensics team or the IR team, and maybe not even intending to, but doing that work? Can you talk to us about what that looks like, and also why it can be dangerous if that is not in their agreement with their customer?
Yeah.
So,
and someone said earlier on the call about you all the heroes, right? But you're all also can be looked at as the goat. So you always want to be the hero and not the goat in this. But unfortunately, your clients are going to look at you for everything. So what I tell every MSP, right, is you got to think about the demarcation line of what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing if an incident occurs. I'm all for containment, right? Disconnecting the internet, resetting passwords, making sure somebody is not the infection is not spreading. But when it comes to looking into the incident and figuring out the root cause, figuring out lateral movement, anything of a forensic nature, you really want to avoid that for a couple reasons. One, it's likely not in your contract with your client, right? So then the question is, well, who's paying you to do that? Two, in terms of the insurance that you have, I don't know if your insurance would cover you to do that if you do something wrong. Three, when someone like me gets involved and you've done a forensic investigation, I'm going to be really perturbed, because at that point, everything is discoverable. So just imagine if one of your clients gets sued because of the incident, you've got a report of everything you've done forensically that might contradict what I found on our forensic investigation. That report that you've done is now discoverable. So it doesn't really help your client out. So what I strongly encourage is having expectation setting conversations with your client about what you will and won't do when an incident occurs. And then you want to get that baked into your contract too, because trust me, you all are going to be the first call when this happens, right? You're going to be the first call to get brought in to help your clients out. So you really want to, though, have those expectation setting conversations early to figure out what you will and won't do. And then you put it into your contract, because that will protect you as well. Because the other problem is, let's just say you do a whole lot of containment work that's outside of the contractual agreements, and you're like, well, insurance is going to pay me for that. Well, no, they're not, because you didn't have an agreement with the insurance company beforehand, with your client's insurance company. So you want to make sure that you're not left holding the bag either. But you really want to make sure that you're working with your clients too when these incidents occur. So I'll give you an example with CDK. So with the CDK breach, CDK is a software that works with mainly auto dealerships, some others too. They've got about 15,000 auto dealers. They got hit with a ransomware attack Wednesday, completely shut down their systems. All 15,000 of these dealerships basically went down. They couldn't do sales services. I'm sure your clients are probably seeing this, or if you went to go buy a car recently, you're probably experiencing a lot of delays. One thing, when I've gotten clients on the phone, as I've learned more and more the facts, is there was a VPN tunnel from the clients into CDK, and a lot of the MSPs preemptively disconnected that, which is great, right? So something like that, being able to have that forethought. The other part is we've seen the threat actors basically start calling dealerships, acting as IT professionals, or saying that they're associated with CDK and asking for clients to click on links, right? Phishing links. And I've had a lot of the MSPs have been great, basically advising clients, because when I get to clients now, I'm like, look, if this happens, make sure that you're not doing it. And a lot of the clients have already been talked to from their MSPs and have helped guide them on that. So if you think of these kind of preventative measures, right? These are where you really are the heroes in this situation, because you're the front line when it comes to that. But it's also then recognizing there are limitations, right? So unless you're a forensic expert, I wouldn't go down that route, but I would help them with the containment. It's kind of a long-winded answer though there.
No, it's really important. Any questions on that? And as you know, Jim may, or Michelle, if you can look if there's any raised hands. Spencer, I just really want to hit on the point number 2 you made, which is if your agreement doesn't say you're going to do that work, you're probably not covered. I mean, it's as simple also as even, a very trite point that Eric Tilds has brought up many times is even cyber insurance questionnaires. We've seen MSPs get themselves in trouble on benign things, right? Even before something bad happened. Well, I shouldn't say benign. They go ahead and do a lot of the work with a customer on their cyber insurance questionnaire. But it has nothing in their contract doesn't say they do that work. It doesn't, the limitation, their liability really is null in those things when that's not in their agreement, even though you're trying to help.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you need to be hyper conscious of this. We live in a litigious society, unfortunately, right? So if you are not protecting yourself in your contract and you're going outside those lines, then that might just come back to bite you when you're trying to be helpful too. So I'm a huge proponent of expectation level conversation, having expectation conversations, level setting conversations, sorry, and then baking that into your contracts and your MSAs to make sure that there's no misunderstanding down the road. Because the last thing you want is for the liability cap to get removed, right? Because maybe it's outside your MSA or outside of your contract. And maybe you've got a great MSA and a great contract that limits your liability to 12 months of services, but maybe it falls outside. So now it's not going to be within that. And so now what is it governed by? Usually just going to be negligence. So at that point, your liability increases substantially.
Right. Absolutely. Jim, Michelle, do we see any questions thus far?
No, I don't.
No.
Okay. So Spencer, the CDK thing highlights a really important part that we're starting to talk a lot more about. We've talked about it on this call, we've talked about it on the cyber call, but it is whether it was the MGM where posing as a help desk, or in this case, the threat actor, had 15,000 different customers to pose as a to pose as the help desk, and very convincingly, right? You're down, you want to be back up. What kind of guidance, and again, where does this kind of help by whether having a relationship with you or some kind of breach attorney about policy, about understanding, what it's like internally first to have authentication and verification of this is who it is.
Yes.
First landing that internally, but then also I would, using this story in particular, even if you don't have car dealerships, I think this is a great exercise to walk through a tabletop with a customer about this kind of thing, because this is really how, again, even without, the phishing, right? We talk about pre-texting being, we don't even need people to click on links anymore. We can get them to do things. So talk to us a little bit about, the preparation in this area. This is a new tactic. I shouldn't say brand new, but a new tactic that's really being leveraged heavily by threat actors.
So it goes to, like, I would say there's two big things I would want everybody to kind of take away from this call, right? Especially when I'm looking at CDK and lessons I'm learning, at least. The first one is the lesson that we all continue to learn: cyber hygiene, and good cyber hygiene. Your clients are going to listen to you, right? They're going to lean on you. So having the conversations about verification, over verification, taking multiple steps. We live in a really fast moving society where we're all busy and we just want to get back up, like, especially CDK, right? Their business goes down. Somebody calls you with a quick fix. You instantly want to just believe them. But you all, as their really like technical expertise and their technical advisors and partners, can talk to them beforehand and have a sit down with them and go over. I think it's a great tabletop exam, right? And go over things that they should be doing to verify. Because once again, it's easy for us to believe someone to just do a quick fix. And so you all kind of hammering that point home with your clients about taking a step back, taking a deep breath. Think about wire fraud, right? And multiple levels of verification and confirming the identity of who we're talking to rather than just letting somebody into your system. The other part too is conversations you should be having with your clients, I think now, is redundancy. And this goes beyond the cyber hygiene part. So with the software with CDK, the MSPs right now are in a tough position because all their clients are calling them before they call me asking for help, asking for like a workaround, and it might not be there. But if you all could work with your clients now, especially the ones that have this type of software, and talk to them about other options, like 2 is one is none. And there might not be another option out there after this happens, but working through these kind of contingencies with them beforehand, I think creates an immense value for you all with your clients.
Yeah, really excellent point, Spence. The other thing that's fascinating about this is even if you didn't get attacked, right, but your system is down, this goes into really the basis of good selling. Jim, think about it. Like, you know, we talk about, you know, what business owners care about, right? If you run your business on CDK, right, what's revenue looking like for the past 3 or 4 days?
Sucks. I mean, I talked to friends that are literally waiting for cars and they're not paying for their cars until they have access to them. So, and it's at the end of a quarter, no less.
Right, exactly. So when we think about, you know, conversations with customers and getting leverage, Spencer, you know, a lot of times as technical resources, you know, people as MSPs, we want to talk about cyber, you know, yes, cyber controls and policies are important, but at the end of the day, it comes back to what moves the needle, right? What drives revenue? What systems, people, and processes drive revenue? So I thought it was interesting, number one, that you said about redundancy. But number two, how are you advising businesses like or MSPs or customers when you're talking to them before an incident about, you know, data flow, about mission critical systems? Because really, again, a business owner doesn't care about technology until they do.
Yeah.
They don't care about a threat actor and an attack until they do care.
So I walk them through like the apocalypse in tabletops, right? I try my best to scare the you-know-what out of people. Because unfortunately, every time I'm doing a tabletop, it's usually based off a real life situation that I've dealt with. So I think getting them to understand the impact on their bottom line and their reputation too as a business is the best selling point. And it's not even a selling point, it's just a reality point of, okay, if this software goes down, what are you going to do? And it can't be, I'm not going to do anything, right? This goes to business continuity planning, but it really is the big part of the incident response planning. Like, how are you going to be dealing with this? And if not, let's look at what's going to happen to you. I mean, it's a great point. How much revenue? I mean, the numbers are staggering for my clients right now that are experiencing this, the business loss of income. It's ridiculous because they can't sell cars and they can't do much of their service. They're usually they're doing pen and paper to do sales and whatnot. So it's walking them through the worst case scenarios and really getting them to sit down and wrap their heads around that this is not just technology. This does go to your bottom line. This goes to the core functions of your business.
Yeah. And I put, you know, at top of the hour here, Spence, thanks for jumping on and sitting and learning more about the SaaS Alerts team.
No, it's a really cool product you guys got.
They're doing doing a great job. So I put your LinkedIn there. If people have questions, they can get a hold of you. That's in the chat. Michelle, anything to wrap up before? I'm very sad that this is your last SaaS call. Very, very sad about that.
I know. I'm sad as well, and I'm definitely gonna miss you guys. During the call though, I did sign up for Discord. I'm on the server with my personal email now, so you can certainly reach out to me anytime. You guys are great. You're a really fun bunch, and the SaaS call, like I said, just one of my absolute favorite parts of the week. So thank you all for making it such a lively group, and Andrew, of course, you too.
Thank you for all you did, Michelle. You'll be incredibly missed. You're awesome. So we'll keep in touch with you out on the Discord. Again, Spencer, thank you so much for jumping in here and giving some words of wisdom. Wishing you guys all a fantastic week, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Oh, wait, is next Thursday?
No, next Thursday is 4th of July, so there will be no SaaS call.
So we'll see you in
Enjoy
Tuesday.
your hot dogs and your fireworks. Don't lose any fingers. And yeah, good luck to you all. I'm gonna miss you guys. So I wish you all the best.
Thanks. Miss you too. Thanks.
We wish you the best, Michelle.
Thank you. And you email me, I'll send you my personal email address if you want it. No problem. All
Thanks.
right.
Bye.
All right. Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Bye-bye.